Episode 4106, Don't Cross the Line.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. How are you doing this weekend? You know what? It's almost July. That means, yes, here in the U.S., we're going to be celebrating an incredible birth date. So this is your last weekend in June. So whatever you're doing, catch up now so you can enjoy the weekend next weekend. But whatever you're doing, don't cross the line. It's all about your marriage. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, inspiring connection and community. Well, today is all about connection, right? I've got a girlfriend who is at a family wedding right now, and go back to that moment for you. I hope it was a beautiful day. I look back on my wedding and I think, wow, all the things we did. And I was a bride who actually remembered everything. And most of it, honestly, was all good. Now, I might have had to get a little bit of a bridezilla moment. Yeah, let's be honest here. And it was only because it was the 93 floods. Yes, it was. And we got married in the Kansas City area. And it was the only day, technically it did rain that day, but it was the only day we didn't have like pouring showers and just rain. I mean, when I say we had floods, I lived in an apartment complex that was right next to a golf course. We swam the golf course. Like, that's how much water there was, okay? Like, when I said there was floods, there was like literally floods. Luckily, we weren't directly. I was on the second floor, so that was good, all fine. But it did lead to a few challenges. And I had an outdoor wedding. It was a garden wedding outside, and it was at this beautiful restaurant. We had everything there, and my dad and my mom walked me down the aisle, and my entire family, extended family, was there. My husband's entire family was there. All of them could come. I mean, it was just absolutely gorgeous. But before all of that happened, they had these big white tents. Now, one we expected because it was over the food, it was the dance area and all of this, and they had another one kind of off to the side as overflow. But then there was the big white tent that was over where everybody would sit. And I was like, yeah, no. And so I arrived there early on Saturday. We took pictures before, and no, I did not want him to see me. I was very traditional in that. And I walked up to the guy that was filling in for the head guy because the head guy was gone. It was his weekend off. I don't know. So I got the second best. And they said, oh, Christiane, we can take the tent down, but right now it shows rain in the forecast. Now, already early that morning, it did sprinkle. Okay, it did. I just kept looking up, and there were just white, fluffy clouds, and the blue skies were there. And it was an evening wedding. So my wedding wasn't until that evening, and it went into the night. And I was like, it's not going to rain. And they're like, well, we've had, it's been the floods. And if we take down the tent, we can't put it back up. So we just highly suggest you just need to leave the tent up. And this was my bridezilla moment here. And honestly, it really wasn't that bad. I just looked at him and I said, I am the one getting married. I am the one who makes the decisions. I want the tent taken down, and I understand that if it rains, it can't go back up. I said, but I want this tent taken down. And he looked at me and he goes, okay, we're on it. So then, of course, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, Lord, what if it does rain? What do we do? Well, luckily, what did I tell you? We had another covered area where it was going to be the dance area where we'd have the food and tables. And I thought, worst case scenario, all chairs just go underneath there. And we just have to maneuver a few things. It's okay. My middle name is flexibility. We can do this. Can I just say not one drop of rain fell the entire time we were there? It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. The sunset was outstanding. I mean, it was just like you would stand there in awe going, only God could paint this picture. But then what happens after that wedding day, right? Whether you remember all the good or there's sprinkles of bad, or you had to be a little bit of a bridezilla, or maybe there was just some things that were ugly because, well, sometimes you have those moments because of stress and you're trying to make everything right, okay? No judgment here at all. We all have our moments. But then you get into the real life and you start having to pile on the to-do list and the responsibilities of what it is to come together as husband and wife, and what it is to now have a family. And then now you're paying bills, not just by yourselves, you're paying them together, and money's done differently. And you're like, this is just not what I thought it was. And all of a sudden you're having these conversations that you're like, oh, I don't know that I like what you're telling me here. You didn't talk like this to me when we were dating. And at the wedding, even, you were really kind. You were excited when I was going to walk down the aisle, right? Have you ever drawn a boundary in your marriage, a clear line, keeping your spouse on their side? Preserving your pride like a fortress around your heart? We've all done it. And that pride might be just because I know best, or it's my ego, or whatever it is, right? It's just to protect you, saying, I don't need this. It's not for you. You've overstepped your boundaries. And maybe you think you're protecting yourself. And in doing so, that means shutting down tough conversations, rejecting correction, or dodging the deeper questions about really who you are becoming. But I want you to stop and ask yourself, who really wants a love so fragile that it breaks under honesty? Think about that for a minute. I mean, because when you were dating, you were sharing, right? And hopefully during that time, it was honest conversation. Now, I know there are unhealthy marriages out there where you've got people who are in abusive relationships, those who are having to deal with mental instability with a spouse. That is not what I'm talking about here. Please understand that, okay? This is for the marriage that is somewhat, quote unquote, traditional, where you have spouts, but then you come together and then, you don't like each other for even a week or so. That's normal, right? But we're not talking about abuse. We're not talking about anger where it gets hot and heavy. We're not talking about narcissism. We're not talking about mental health and all of that. That's all a different conversation, okay? Just so we know. But seriously, stop and ask, who really wants a love so fragile that it breaks under honesty? Don't cross the line. I mean, marriage isn't about guarding your ego at all costs, is it? Or is it? It's not a delicate dance where criticism is a threat and probing questions are an ambush. But when you say don't cross the line, what line are you protecting? Your pride? Your ego? Your comfort zone? Or is that a line that just is an invisible prison trapping you both apart? Because it puts you into control. You're like, yep, I got this. You stay over there and I'm over here. You go to that corner. Now, yes, there's a natural fear of letting someone see your cracks, right? And that takes time. And when you're dating, it is something that you begin to reveal. Now, my husband and I, we dated for 3.5 years. And I was not one who would just kind of like, shy away from things. I wasn't the one who was, just going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to step aside. It's all right. Oh, no. I came in like a bull in a china closet and I said, this is my question. If this situation happens, this is my response. I mean, I laid it all out. And that was before we probably even had dated a year. He knew my background. I knew his background. I wasn't going to at all let anybody say and tell me. I set the expectations. I raised the ceiling higher. And I was hoping he would do the same. I raise it for him. He raises it for me. We do it. Why? Because we got to know each other. We got to see each other's heart. We also got to see each other's hurts. And when you begin to draw a line and you say, don't cross it, don't cross that line, don't do it. Why? What are you afraid of? What's really coming up for you? That's really an honest conversation you need to have with yourself. Because if you look at what you're doing, right, that fear of saying, I don't want to reveal this part. The prying can feel like an invasion of privacy, right? Come on, let me in. Pushing you to put up walls or erase the moment shared. And it's like, it's a protection. It says, no, don't come here. But this kind of communication avoidance doesn't keep your marriage safe. It doesn't keep you safe. It keeps it stuck. You might feel like you're winning when you hold the line, but every no to vulnerability chips away at your love's foundation. Think about it. Take yourself to a situation where you said, don't cross the line. Don't do it. And sometimes we say, don't cross this line, but we really don't say it. We're like, I double dog dare you to come and keep pushing at me. You know those conversations. You've been through one or two or three of them. But if you want to stop the slow erosion of your love, you have to stop hiding behind boundaries that shut connection down. You got to be willing to be vulnerable. You've got to be willing to love more. You've got to be willing to open up your heart to the point where you say, this is what hurt me back then. Are you going to live there? Are you going to stay there? No. But maybe what you're wrestling with came with some baggage. But if you can share that with your spouse and open up about it, maybe that baggage is no longer heavy. In fact, maybe it can go to a dumpster and leave. And now it no longer is something that hangs around and becomes smelly and is defeating to your marriage and your love's foundation. But unfortunately, too many of us, we keep our baggage and we stuff it in a closet. And when we're threatened, and I'm not saying an abusive threat, okay? I'm talking about we feel threatened where, oh, you're getting too close. Like, I don't really want to share this with you. I don't want to share this experience that I had in 8th grade. I don't want to share this experience that I had in college, or what happened to me when I went shopping one night, or whatever it is, or when I was dating this person. Okay, whatever. All of a sudden now you're like closing off. And you go to that closet that you've got all that baggage. You're like, yep. See, this is why I cannot open up my heart anymore. The wall may not get taller, but it gets thicker. And pretty soon it becomes a really, really big barrier. So how do you find the middle ground? How do you avoid the extremes of either tearing each other apart or building cold walls that prevent true intimacy? You got to be willing to walk the line. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Walk the line. My friend, life is all about choices, and you get to choose how you show up in your marriage every single day. Every single day. You can be the one who demands and controls. But I'm here to tell you right now, that's not going to get you anywhere except in front of a judge. It's called separation or divorce. I'm just being honest with you. You must be willing to learn more about your spouse and share a part of you too, so your foundation can become stronger and less brittle. The more you know about your spouse, the more your spouse knows about you. Understand, I'm talking about this in a healthy, basically marriage, okay? We're not talking about an abusive marriage. We're not talking about someone who's mentally unstable, okay? That has a personality disorder. Those are different conversations. That's not what this is about. But if you're one who says, I don't want to be in a relationship where I feel like I'm hiding because I want to share. And in all honesty, I really think most of us want to share those parts of ourselves. But it's when fear and doubt creeps in and almost shame, right? That baggage that we keep, it's not just one little garbage bag. A tall kitchen trash bag that you've got and you're like, okay, yeah, it's fine. No, it's like multiples. Some of them are tied so tight together you can't even open them because you're afraid of what might come out for yourself. That's a hard place to be. But here's the deal. You still get to choose. And if you've got a spouse that honestly loves you and you honestly love them, and you're like, yeah, he's a pretty good guy, and honestly, I'm a pretty good woman. I'm a pretty good catch, right? Maybe you both have that, but there's some downfalls called we don't communicate always well. We're human beings, so we let emotions come in and then feelings come in, and then we own those more than we own, wait. Maybe I need to look at you and see your heart and not just see that, oh, you're just trying to be whatever. We've got to be willing to peel back the layers. So what does it look like in real life to walk the line and be willing to cross it courageously? Number one, set boundaries, but not silos. It's really healthy to say what's off limits, right? It is. Like disrespect or harmful accusations. Nope. That's not good in a marriage at all. But don't confuse boundaries with avoidance. Make sure the line you draw invites open dialogue on tough topics rather than shuts it down, right? You don't need that extra thing. Boundaries should protect your heart, not isolate it. So set those boundaries. But don't act like, no one can come and take a peek in, right? The most important person in your life when you're married should be your spouse, honestly. But I think sometimes it feels that way at first when you're dating and you're looking forward to the wedding and you're getting all prepared, and you may have that bridezilla moment on your wedding day, and then, oh, it's great and the honeymoon is wonderful. And all the goodness may last 1, 2 to 5 years, but then all of a sudden life takes some twists and turns. Why? Because life happens. Death in the family, medical diagnosis, financial struggles, career change, location or relocation, birth of a child, adoption of a new furry friend in the family. There's a lot of things that change. And sometimes when you get into those moments, all of a sudden it's like, and it's like you can't breathe. It's like you're suffocating yourself. And you're just like, I can't keep going. At some point, you do have to take a breath. You have to know, number one, that God's got you. Now, if you're in physical harm, go get help, please. I mean that genuinely. Go find someone in your community. If you attend a church, go talk to somebody who you can trust. Now, I say that because there are some people, there are couples that are like, oh, well, we go to a great church, but they're not going to believe me. They'll believe my spouse instead. Okay, well, then you need to take that into account. You can't go to your church. And I'm meaning that with all sincerity. You have to know who you can trust, who will be your confidant, and that can help you. If you need to, go and speak to law enforcement. They have resources where they can point you to people who know what to do or have options for you. But if you're blessed to be married and you're like, I was talking to somebody the other day and she said, oh yeah, we're about ready to hit 30 years in marriage. And I was like, well, congratulations. And of course, we're older. Well, I don't know that technically we're older than them, but we've been married longer than they have and been together longer. She goes, yeah, it's amazing, marriage. And she goes, I had no idea, it'd be like this. I said, you mean that marriage gets harder the longer you stay together? She goes, yes. And I said, yeah, because it's a choice. It's a choice. You get up and say, God gave me this person and I don't always understand him or I don't always understand her, but for whatever reason, I love them. My husband just told me a few days back, he was like, you just drive me crazy. He goes, but I still love you, because he gets flustered with me. Why? Because I challenge him in a positive way, by the way. But he doesn't always take it that way, right? Don't cross the line. But I know where I can push and when I can push. But that has come through years of us going through things, learning each other, Knowing when it's, okay, Christiane, now is not the right time. Keep your mouth shut. Stay in your corner. That's the best thing right now. Maybe in another week or so, you can have a conversation. But now is not the time. And there's other times where it's like, oh, I'm not waiting. I'm coming right at it. And it's like we're in a boxing ring and I'm ready for it. Boxing gloves are already on. I'm the bull in the china closet and I'm already released. But you got to know. And so, yeah, marriage is not easy. It takes work. But I'm here to remind you that you're better together. You really are. And it's worth the effort. It's worth the energy. It's worth that work. Put it in. And watch how you grow better together. Like literally. Iron sharpens iron. That's what you want to be for each other. Now, I get it. We all have our moments and we like to poke and whatever. Okay, but make them moments. Don't make them like it's an everyday occurrence. I've had those conversations with clients too. People when I go shopping and they just start telling me their life story. I'm wearing a sign that says, tell me your life story. And I'm standing there listening to them. Or I'm checking out and the cashier is telling me in literally quick form, and she slows down because she wants to tell me more. And it's hard sometimes because we get into the habit of like, you're really frustrating me and I don't know how to get over that. So I'm just going to keep pushing your buttons because it makes me feel all powerful and in control. That's not always the right approach either. So go back, set boundaries that are healthy for both of you. Remember, boundaries should protect your heart, not isolate it. Number 2, choose vulnerability as a strength, not a weakness. Being open about fears and failures and doubts isn't giving your spouse ammo. It's giving them trust. Trust is earned. Okay? So if you're going through or have been through a tornado in your life, a storm where trust is questionable, it's going to take some repair time to get back to where you were and then beyond. Can you do it? 1,000%. 1,000%. I'm a testimony to that. But again, it takes effort and energy to do it. You have to put in the work and you have to be willing to say, okay, well, he's given here, I've given there. Okay, all right, let's take one more step. What does that look like? We can try this conversation. What does that feel like? And you begin to build that trust. But if you already have it, fabulous. Don't take it for granted. Because when you invite honesty, you model courage and create a safe space where love can deepen. And that's what you want. Right? I'm redoing our driveway here because of our whole oak tree situation. And so I'm getting all these quotes and I'm learning things that I never thought I'd have to learn in some of this stuff. I mean, when you're into forced renovations, you're like, okay, sure, I'm going to learn these things. I'm going to look them up. But, driveways are built a certain way. They don't just lay this 1 inch worth of concrete and walk out and say, okay, I'm done. It's all fine. Oh, no. They dig up stuff, right? They have to make it level. Sometimes they add a certain type of sand or a combination of something. Then there's rebarb. Why? Because you got to have something for the actual concrete to adhere to right, so it doesn't shift. And then there's got to be some breathing space. So you can't have it just all connected. There's got to be some lines. That's why there's lines in the sidewalk. Yeah. That's why there's lines in a driveway. Yeah. And it can't be just 1 inch. It's got to be 4 inches thick. And then if you've got this exposed aggregate and all of this and this wash that has it done and it's beautiful and they do a lot of it down here in the South, and then we've got brick inlays with real mortar and all of that, it's like, whoa. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just, oh, we've got a cement truck out there. We're just going to pour it here, put a few things here, just lay it. Okay, walk away. No, because what's going to happen? It's going to crack. It's going to look horrible. Not in 10 years, but in 1 month. Because it wasn't built right. It didn't have a strong enough foundation. You got to be willing to build up that foundation. And part of that is as you have trust with each other, you can be vulnerable with one another. Vulnerability is the soil where connection grows. And that's where your love deepens. And that's where it can stand the test of time and this test of storms and the test of heavy trucks called Amazon trucks and delivery trucks, because no one goes anywhere and they come up on your driveway and you're like, really? Yeah, really. Our driveway right now is over 18 years old and it looks great, except for when we had the oak tree fall and now we have damage. Now it has to be repaired. Will it look better soon? Of course it will. But it's got to start from the beginning, and we've got to build it up to where it's sustainable long term again for another 18 to 30, 40 years. Finally, number 3, practice constructive feedback. Constructive, not criticism. We're all good at criticizing. We are. Oh, it comes out of our mouths so fast. It just is. But you don't have to poison one another with your words. And it's not about pointing fingers or fixing each other. That's not your job. You're not your spouse's mama. And your spouse is not your mama. It's about sharing observations with kindness, focusing on solutions and making we the priority. Remember, you got married. I became we. Me is now flipped to we. And when your spouse hears, I want us to be better, instead of you're wrong, the line now becomes a path to grow, not a barrier. So the taller wall becomes shorter, and the thickness of it lessens, and you're taking the brick off one by one. What invisible walls have you quietly built to protect yourself? And even your pride, your ego. When you've crossed the line between protecting your heart and putting up your fortress, what are those invisible walls? I want you to own them right now. In your mind. You don't have to go tell your spouse and say, oh, Christiane told me I had to tell you this right now. No. I want you to be aware of them. Because this is your time of reflection of saying, I could do better here. And that's a good thing. We all can do better. I am not a perfect spouse. Now I'm going to tell my husband tonight, I am his perfect spouse. But that's because I was created for him. But that doesn't mean I'm perfect. Okay? I'm his perfect, imperfect spouse. God knew the two of us were going to come together, and we're a team to be reckoned with. But let me tell you, it didn't come by circumstance. It didn't come by happenstance. It came from hard work. Lots and lots of tears shed. Lots and lots of laughters shared. Lots and lots of quiet moments not saying anything. Lots and lots of love that goes much deeper than we ever could have imagined. So are you ready to invite your spouse deeper into your world and let them speak more honestly into yours? My friend, love isn't about staying safe. It's about risking closer, learning harder, and sometimes crossing the line together. Yeah, maybe you need to guard your pride a little bit, but never at the cost of your connection. Because let me remind you, don't just protect the line. Why? Because you're better together. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life, and love your journey? Visit CreateYourNow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.